What's up, guys? So this weekend, Saturday, October 19th, in London, Kentucky, we have a cerebral palsy awareness truck meet, truck show that we do every single year, and this year is going to be bigger than ever, hopefully. Vendors set up, all kinds of stuff to look at and buy. So this is a charity truck show, and it's for a really, really good cause. So come on out this Saturday, October 19th. All of the info will be on this Instagram page. I will put it down below in the description. So click on that, get all the full details, the time and all that. But it's this Saturday, October 19th in London, Kentucky. I hope to see you all out there. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Just Like Smith channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing the first test drive on the 6.0 with the new Blessed Performance motor. Of course, anyone that follows the channel knows that I'm super honest on here. So I will say this is not my first test drive. I didn't want to get into a video because obviously anytime that someone puts a motor in for the first time, there could be some issues, you know, from someone putting a motor in for their first time, which it was my first time ever swapping an engine in a truck. So I did accidentally cause some issues, and we're going to go over that right quick. Let's pop the hood. Okay, look at that beautiful engine bay, guys. It looks absolutely immaculate under here. Single shot powder coating out of Science Hill, Kentucky. I've got to give a huge shout out to them. I still have the degas bottle, coolant bottle, whatever you want to call it. I have one of those that's aluminum that I'm going to have powder coated, so then that will match as well. But I just want to go over what my issues were. So whenever I first started it, it warmed up to operating temperature. No problems, no leaks, no issues. And I guess just through the vibration of it idling and stuff, I let it idle for probably about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It got up to 130 degrees, I think, 140 degrees. This was a separate time idling than in the last video that you all seen where we done the first startup. That was the actual first startup. Now, again, like I said, we've drove the truck just a little bit. I'm gonna tell you how many miles are on it because I don't know. So we have drove it 60 miles. It has 60.4 miles since the new motor was put into the truck. But anyway, back to the issues that I caused. So right here you have your turbo feed line. This is what feeds oil into your turbo. I had this fitting right here loose. Let me see if it'll focus. Yeah, there's a fitting right there. It's right there. Anyway, so the line screws on to the fitting, and then the fitting bolts into the oil cooler housing, I believe it is. And then that also has a fitting up top, and then the line screws onto the fitting. So this came already assembled and put together the line. So I figured that it was all tight. So I just dropped it down in there, tightened the 8mm, and I didn't check the tightness of the actual line. So that did have an oil leak. And then another turbo oil issue for some reason was right here. Let's see, so this line right here, I actually ended up getting a defective line from SoCal. It actually wasn't my fault. That first oil leak was the only one that was my fault. So I reached out to Matt Story at Blessed Performance, and he reached out to the owner of SoCal Billet. They overnighted me a new turbo drain line, and it worked perfectly, and that fixed that issue. So huge shout out to SoCal Billet, and huge shout out to Matt Story for standing behind the parts that he sells and just being a man of his word so far. He has been absolutely awesome, so I'm super pumped up. Like I say, guys, the engine bay looks absolutely awesome. Don't mind the white hood. I still have to paint the bottom of it. I just threw the old hood back on. It's all scratched up and stuff, but we're gonna get around to it. We've got to paint the grill. We've got to take the headlights apart, paint them. We've got to paint the bottom of the hood and the top of the hood, and we have to take all this apart and look. And it also needs a new fender over here. It has some dents in it from the last mechanic. But anyway, even though this is a first drive video, this is gonna be pretty much my first actual long drive. So the 60 miles has been around town, going to grabbing parts and stuff for work. I live just a mile or two from an Advance Auto Parts, so I usually go down there a lot. So I've drove it there, and then I've drove it out to a customer's house. I've drove it a little bit. There is, I think, maybe a small coolant leak on this driver's side. I don't know if it's somewhere I overfilled the coolant bottle and some poured, or whenever I poured it in I missed it. So on this driver's side there is maybe a little bit of a coolant leak, but it's not been enough of a leak to where the level has changed. So I'm really not sure. I could have just spilled some coolant. There may not be an actual leak. So that's coolant. Transmission, power steering, and brake fluid, we're all good on those. And then as far as an oil leak goes, we do still have one small oil leak. Me and Matt have talked about it, and I haven't pulled the fender liner just yet because I literally just put them in. So I think it's the glow plug harness. One of the O-rings on one of like the glow plugs I think is maybe leaking a little bit of oil. Again, this is not an oil leak that like constantly drips. It's just kind of wet, and it has the radius arm just like kind of wet with oil. It's not something that, you know, is changing the level of the oil on the truck. So I believe that we're good for a first actual test drive. So me and the wife and the kid are wanting to go to a pumpkin patch today, so that's going to be today's YouTube video. I don't know if I'll show anything from the actual pumpkin patch, but it's an hour each way, like an hour and 4 minutes each way. I'm not sure how many miles that will be, but I'll take you guys along with me. We're going to start the truck up, let it warm up. I usually like to let it get to about 100, 110 degrees at least before driving it. I don't know if that really matters or if that's a good practice, but we're going to go ahead and get our first cold start on the YouTube channel of the new motor. You want to start Daddy's truck?
Huh?
You want to start Daddy's truck?
Mm-hmm.
You want to start it?
Yeah.
Do you want to drive it?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Fast fuel system is primed up. Also, one other thing that I done that I thought was pretty cool is, if you all have seen some of my other videos, I done the crankcase reroute, which is like coming out of the crankcase box. Coming out of the crankcase box from the factory, you have like a tube that goes into like your air intake, and I had that routed to the atmosphere, and it just caused a horrible smell like underneath the truck, like where it was, you know, like where the fumes were coming out, I guess. So I had that, I created a bung, and I drilled a hole in the exhaust pipe, and I welded a bung in there, and then I slid the tube onto that bung, and now it's routed through the exhaust. So the only fumes and stuff coming out of the truck are straight out of the tailpipe in the very back. So that helps a lot with like the smell and stuff. It just, I don't know, it had like an odd smell. But as you can hear, this thing is just sitting here purring like a kitten. I thought that it would be smarter to go ahead and put a few miles on the truck before I done the first YouTube video. Like I said, I'm very honest here on the channel, and I've honestly not had any issues except for those 2 oil leaks. The truck is running really, really good. Are you gonna drive?
Yeah.
Okay. 2-hour trip to the pumpkin patch and back. It's an hour and some change each way. Keep y'all in the loop. I'll see you out there on the road. The truck made it to the pumpkin patch. Here comes the daredevil. Come on, Rat! He loves it. Rat, good job. Woohoo! Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Did you go fast?
Yeah. I'm going again.
You're going again? Alright guys, so I hope you all enjoyed that little drive-by. That was right around half throttle. I don't want to be hard on it, of course, because I don't want it to like be leaking stuff. Sorry. I seen a spot in the road where I was sitting, but it's dried up. It is not for me. But anyway, I don't want to be hard on it before it's made to, like, I don't really ever plan on being hard on it, of course, but like, you know, doing a wide open throttle pull, for example, it should be built to where it will handle that, but from where the motor is new, like, I don't want to do that to it yet. But like, this is just normal driving it. It sounds so good. Like, the non-VGT setup sounds so good. Like I said, my only complaint with the truck right now is just with the tuning a little bit. Like, nothing against the tuning, but like, it's tuned for the 205 100s, which is what the previous mechanic that worked on the truck, that's what was supposed to be in it, but they ended up being 205 75s. So it's tuned for 205 100s right now. And then as far as like the transmission shift points, it is, I'm gonna have to play with I'm gonna have to email and call Matt at Blessed Performance, and he's gonna change the transmission shift points a little bit, and then just to make it not go into overdrive so soon, each gear will just rev out just a little bit further, like under normal driving. But listen at it. Dude, it sounds so good. And like, underneath the hood, that Turbo Time USA turbo, it spools so quick. Like, it spools so quick to be, you know, like a built, upgraded S366. On driving a little bit, pretty much 200-mile review. We've not had any issues out of it so far, other than those 2 oil leaks that we talked about. And then I think it does have a small oil leak. In the next video, we'll go over that. I'm not sure what the oil leak is yet, so we'll be diagnosing and fixing whatever the small oil leak is right now. Like I said, it's not dripping oil, but there is like a little bit of oil on the radius arm on the passenger side, and it's almost kind of stopped. So it may have just been where I spilled a bunch of oil whenever I actually filled the truck up with oil. But since I didn't get to make it to that, I guess the next show that we'll be going to will be Smoky Mountain Truck Fest of 2025. I don't even think that the dates are announced yet, but by then I will be able to get this truck to 100,000 miles, and then we will go ahead and get a new suspension company on board, hopefully a new wheel company on board of some sort. I definitely do want to do some forged wheels again on the truck. I think I'm probably going to do street tires. I'm not sure. I may do like some all-terrains. If y'all made it this far in the video, I appreciate y'all watching and coming along with me on this pretty much 2-year-long journey to have the motor built. Hopefully we have a good solid motor now. But thanks to Blessed Performance and PKP Motorsports, we now have the built, it's like a stage 2 or stage 3 PKP Motorsports transmission. And we have the stage 2 or stage 3 built motor from Blessed Performance. But anyway, huge shout out to all the awesome companies that's you know, stuck with me through all this. I really appreciate you all. And that's going to be all for today's video, guys. Always remember, everybody starts out as nobody, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.